Hello. First tonight, an apology from the police in Essex to the family of a woman who was murdered by her partner.
Maria Stubbings was strangled days after she phoned 999, fearing for her life. Her partner, Mark Chivers, has been jailed for the rest of his life. Essex police have now admitted to the BBC that mistakes were made in the murder case of Maria Stubbings. It comes before an official report into the investigation is published.
Maria Stubbings' brother Manuel Fernandez has welcomed a letter from Essex police admitting they made mistakes and apologising for them.
My sister's gone. She'll never come back, and we've suffered a great loss, and we've had to endure what we've known, to be a catalogue of errors, and it doesn't really alleviate that. Had the police done what we would have expected them to do, I do think that there would be a very, very strong possibility she'd be alive today.
Maria Stubbings was scared of Mark Chivers. He was violent towards her, jailed for assaulting her. When he burgled her home, she died 999. 8 days after her initial police call, she was found dead in the downstairs toilet of her own house, strangled with a dog lead, hidden under clothes. Her body lay there with her teenage son in the house.
My nephew was greeted by the murderer, and he wouldn't know any better, but he was looking for things around the house, and his recollection is that he was followed almost like a shadow into every room. And for us, we're truly grateful that he's alive, because I think it's probably inevitable that if he had stumbled on my sister's body, I don't think he'd be with us today.
Mark Chivers was already a convicted murderer. He'd strangled his former girlfriend in Germany. Last year, he was given a whole life sentence for Maria Stubbings' murder. Police officers did attend the house the day prior to arresting my sister's murderer, and her car was indeed on the drive. Her phone was in the house. The murderer, who would have been known to them, opened the door. In a statement, Assistant Chief Constable Derek Benson says, "On behalf of Essex Police, I wish to express my condolences to the family and friends of Maria Stubbings. It's accepted that Essex Police did make mistakes, and we have already taken steps to ensure this does not happen again. I am sorry for the mistakes that were made by Essex Police." Manuel Fernandez feels deeply obligated to his sister that this doesn't happen to anyone else. Debbie Tubby, BBC Look East, Essex. Debbie Tubby, BBC.
The wreckage from Tuesday's rail crash in Suffolk has been removed, and it's hoped that trains will be running again from tomorrow. 21 people were injured when a train collided with a sewage tanker on an unmanned level crossing at Little Cornard. Alex Dunlop is there for us now. Alex.
Well, Susie, I can tell you that in the last half hour, the tanker driver, a 38-year-old Lithuanian man from Cambridgeshire, has been charged with endangering safety on the railway. He'll be remanded in custody tonight, and he'll appear before Suffolk magistrates tomorrow morning. You can see behind me Network Rail engineers still working on the line. Now, over the last 2 days, they and British Transport Police have been around the clock working on the site to get the branch line back to normal.
Heading out, the slurry tanker at the centre of Tuesday's crash on the unmanned crossing. The train's 2 carriages were craned off the track at 5 o'clock this morning in a massive operation which lasted through the night.
It's been a big disruption for the locals as the road's been closed. EDF had to cut the power off and things like that as it runs across the track. So there's been many agencies here involved with this incident.
Just take a look at the makeshift car park for contractors 2 days on, a hint of the cost of removing wreckage and repairing the line. But the economic impact ripples out. Michael Crawford should have harvested his wheat yesterday, but the recovery vehicles are blocking local roads.
That needs to be got now. It's rain's coming in, it could be ruined in the field. We can't get the combine here because it can only come in at the bottom. Roads are too narrow. So we've got to come in at the bottom there, and the contractor's now gone away to do someone else's because he couldn't do ours.
But why the urgency?
It's ready. It's going to lose value dramatically.
Many level crossings, especially in rural areas, are operated by those who use them, like this one at Nacton near Ipswich.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's fine, as it is,
Safe enough?
Yeah, safe.
And you use it quite a lot, do you?
Yeah, every day.
Now, this crossing is very similar to the one at Little Cornard. You can see these gates which you have to open if you want to cross the track. The signage really is pretty explicit And of course there's this phone in which you can phone ahead to the signal box. And once you pick up the handset you can call, and there are other numbers you can call just in case there's no answer.
Police and Network Rail maintain these unmanned crossings are safe if used properly.
Now I can tell you that even though we knew that train was coming, we were surprised by how quickly and how quietly it got to the crossing where we were. Let me just give you an update on the passenger, the train passenger who was hurt in Tuesday's crash. He's a 58-year-old local solicitor, Alan Dickinson. His condition tonight is described as critical but stable. He's in a London hospital. Now, British Transport Police handed over the site to Network Rail this morning, and that meant that the engineers here could get on and actually get this line working again. They say that the damage really wasn't too bad. Network Rail say that they're pretty confident they'll have this branch line between Sudbury and Markstay up and running first thing tomorrow morning. Back to you.
Alex, thank you very much.
3 boys are still being questioned by the police in connection with the death of a man in Bedford. It happened yesterday afternoon on the embankment. The man apparently collapsed after a dispute with a teenage boy. Mike Cartwright is there now.
Well, the man, a Croatian, Josip Janovic, had fished this stretch of river many times before. Now, today we've got more details into his death. Now, according to the post-mortem, whatever took place in the argument here, it didn't cause his death. But tonight, 3 boys remain in custody. Surrounded by those who loved him, Josip Janovic, described as the bedrock of his family. At his home in Bedford today, his grown-up daughters grieved inside. Neighbours there said everyone liked him.
Always said hello, he always opened the door, I always opened the door for him. He used to stand and mend his bike all the time. I used to stand and chat with him, he was a lovely guy.
Bedford Embankment, a keen fisherman, this is where the 57-year-old was yesterday afternoon. 3 boys approached him. It's alleged one tried to steal his bike. There was an argument, Mr. Jovanovic collapsed and later died.
We have 3 people in custody at the moment. They are 3 boys aged 12, 13 and 15. We are interviewing them, but obviously we still need further witnesses to come forward to tell us what they know, what they saw, if they saw anything suspicious around the area of the embankment to the rear of Borough Hall.
The confrontation here was not the cause of death, according to his post-mortem. The man who fled war in Croatia, only to lose his life here. Well, the family have released a statement in the last few minutes. They say losing Josip was a great shock. He meant everything to him, to them, and now they've got to pull together to get over his loss. They said they left Croatia to come here to live freely and in peace. They say everyone liked him and he was kind to everyone. Well, the police say they're going to have to do more tests on Josip's heart to establish the exact cause of death. Back to you.
Mike, thank you very much.
There's plenty still to come on tonight's Look East. We'll be finding out what the future may hold for our A-level